Good morning. Yes. Good morning, SDC. How are you today? Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, Instagram. And good morning, YouTube and SDC. I am live today, coming to you live. My name is Eve, and I am the host and creator of a podcast called Please Me. And Please Me aims to destigmatize conversations about sex and sexual health. And so I am so excited to be here today with you, sharing this information. I'm still trying to get my situation going here. I'm so excited to be here sharing this information with you guys today. I want to just let you know who I am, okay? I am a licensed physical therapist, and I treat conditions of the pelvic floor and sexual health conditions. So I treat things like erectile dysfunction, decreased vaginal sensitivity and dryness, and painful sex, incontinence, prolapse, and other sexual health related issues. So I am here to talk to you about having wetter and wilder sex and harder erections. Okay. And all of that is so important when we're having sex, right? Our physical function needs to be on point for us to be able to have healthy sex. So I'm going to be talking about a lot of that today. Hello from Dubai. Earlier, I had somebody say hello from the Netherlands, and I have South Carolina, Belgium, Texas, Virgin Islands here today, Boynton Beach. I'm also in Florida, so welcome any locals. And any locals, make sure you say hello because I do treatment here in Palm Beach County. So if that's something that you're interested in, I certainly would love to help you. Hi, Lexi. I'm so excited. I was just talking about you, saying that I listened to your webinar last night. It was amazing. Everybody check out Lexi's webinars if you're on SDC. So anyway, there's my intro. And like I said, I have a podcast about sexual health and sex. And the whole idea is to really destigmatize conversations about sex, because what I find in my practice very often is that people will come to me with, say, erectile dysfunction, for instance, and I'll, ask them all of the relevant health questions, etc. And they will then tell me that their partner does not know that they are seeing me, and they're keeping it a secret. And I don't like to be anybody's dirty little secret, right? I want everybody to converse and have conversations about sexuality and sex and dysfunction too. And there is absolutely no shame in having a sexual health condition, okay? Whether it be an STI or whether it be an issue with your sexual function. And so I'm here to talk to you about how to improve your sexual function. So good morning, Saul. Bon Air. Okay, we have people from Puerto Rico in the house. Whippa! I'm also Puerto Rican too, so you got to get excited about that. Anyway, so the first thing that I want to share with you is nutrition. Okay, nutrition is so key to health in general, and it's super, super important for your genital health, right? And so there are some things that you can really do to boost your body's ability to be as healthy as possible. And nutrition is so key. Nutrition is 80% of health. So looking at that and trying to really hone in on that is super, super important. Excuse me. And so nutrition is number one, okay? When you think about the other 20%, right? The other 20% is drinking enough water, getting enough sleep, and exercising, okay? So a lot of people think exercise, that's what we need to do to get healthy, right? But then they go and eat junk food and stuff. No, all right? Nutrition is 80% of health. Exercise falls in that 20%. So, yes, it's very important to exercise and keep your body strong. That is very key. But nutrition is really the biggest thing that you can do that's going to impact your health. So, Belgium is here. Yes, I will talk about lasting longer as well. Okay. So, the first thing that we want to talk about is the things that we can eat in order to have a healthier body and healthier erections. So, the first thing is watermelon. And I love to talk about the watermelon challenge. And I challenge you all to try this. So, watermelon has a natural chemical in it called lycopene. And lycopene does the same thing, basically, that the little blue pill does, right? And what it does is it opens up the blood vessels so that more blood can flow through. And it also has tons and tons of water in it, obviously, that's in the name. And so when you give yourself a lot of hydration, your blood is going to be more full of fluid, right? And so it's going to be able to flow. So hydration is super, super important. So I see somebody's commenting about pills being good for sex, right? And so a lot of people are using pills in order to get hard enough to be able to use, be able to put it in, right? And so what happens is that over time, blockages form in our blood vessels, and plaque can build up and can get stuck in our blood vessels. And so this causes a decrease in blood flow. And the blood flow, if it stops, if it becomes too sticky and the plaque completely closes up the blood vessels, then no more blood is going to flow. So unfortunately, a lot of times people just want a quick fix, right? And the pills do help for a period of time. However, over time, they will stop helping, because if you're still eating what you shouldn't be eating, right? The plaque is going to continue building up, and then eventually the pills will no longer work. And so what I'm talking about is trying to avoid taking the pills and taking care of your health from the inside out. And that's going to help to overall help your health generally, and then it's going to also help your genital health and your sexual health. So watermelon is something that I like to talk about. The first thing that I tell people is that you should have 4 cups a day, and I challenge you to try this: 4 cups a day of the red watermelon, or you can try the yellow watermelon, which has 4 times as much lycopene in it. So you only have to have 1 cup of the yellow watermelon. I can never find the yellow watermelon, but if you can, get that one. But the red watermelon, 4 cups a day, and try it for a week. And I want you to, if you do it, I want you to reach out to me afterwards and tell me what your experience was, and pay attention to your function, your erectile function, and your vaginal wetness, okay? And tell me how that goes. So the watermelon challenge is something that I'm starting with today, okay? It also has lycopene in it, which is very important for health. And another thing that you can eat is oysters. And oysters is, everyone's always known that oysters are an aphrodisiac, right? But you wonder why, right? It can increase your testosterone levels. And it has a very important chemical in it called zinc. And zinc is super important for health. So oysters are another thing that you can eat. Believe it or not, coffee. Coffee is something that I already had this morning, right? It helps with blood flow. So, and it's the caffeine in coffee that helps with blood flow. So, drinking a cup or 2 a day is not going to be bad for you. It's going to be good. And it also has lots of natural antioxidants in it. So this is good for your body to cleanse itself. Dark chocolate. Dark chocolate is one of those things that I love to eat just because it tastes so good, right? Yes. And it's rich in flavanols. It boosts blood flow, and it lowers your blood pressure. So all around, dark chocolate is also amazing. Tons of antioxidants in there. And I keep saying the same things over and over again, right? It increases the ability to make nitric oxide. And nitric oxide helps erectile function. So you're going to hear a pattern here of all of these things that help to boost nitric oxide. Then we have walnuts. Walnuts have arginine, and this is needed, this byproduct is needed to make nitric oxide naturally in your body. So walnuts are really, really good to eat as well. It also has, excuse me, vitamin E, folic acid, and lots of fiber. And fiber is good just to keep your digestive system flowing properly, right? And if you think about the digestive system and you think about your intestines, 70% of your immune system is housed in your gut. Okay, so gut health is extremely, extremely important when it comes to overall health. Grapes. So, I'm trying to bring you different things because I've covered this topic several times, but I want to bring you different things. And we hadn't talked about grapes before, but grapes can also increase nitric oxide. And if you don't love grapes, pomegranate juice also can boost nitric oxide. So all of these things are going to help with blood flow. Garlic. Who likes garlic? I love garlic. And I've been making these French fries lately. And you roast the garlic in the oven, and then you put butter in the garlic and you make it into like a creamy sauce, and you put it on top of the homemade French fries. Oh my God, so yummy. Garlic is so good for your body. It helps to cleanse your body, and it helps to keep your arteries healthy. So we were talking about the plaque buildup in your arteries, right? So garlic helps to get rid of that plaque naturally. And another thing, another thing that you can eat. Sorry, I'm looking at the comments here. There's like so many comments going on over here. And another thing that you can eat is fish. And fish has a lot of natural fatty acids, okay? And it's super, super important to get those omega-3 fatty acids, which also, guess what? Boost nitric oxide. All right, so salmon, sardines, tuna, mackerel, all of those types of fish will boost nitric oxide. So, eating fish on a regular basis is good. You have to pay attention to the, other things. You don't want to eat like big fish all the time. But anyways, focusing on trying to have that on a regular in your diet. And then vegetables. Vegetables are so key. But let's talk specifically about kale today. Okay, and I grow kale in my tower garden. I am a tower garden nerd, and it's an aeroponic garden, and it's amazing for growing your own vegetables in your home. You can also grow fruits in it, like strawberries. I have not had success with strawberries, but I have tons of success with kale, and I love putting kale in my smoothies every day. Kale also increases your nitric oxide, and it has a lot of other amazing vitamins and minerals in it. So super, super important to boosting your nitric oxide levels. And then peppers, okay? Peppers are, and more specifically, spicy peppers, right? Spicy peppers are going to help blood flow. And if you have issues with blood flow, right, to your penis or your clitoris and vagina, peppers are going to help. Spicy peppers are going to help with that blood flow. The heat from the peppers relaxes the arteries. And when you relax the arteries, the blood can flow more fluidly. So that is super important. And let's see, olive oil. And, I'm talking about cold pressed olive oil. Okay, super important. that you get the cold press, because that means that it's no heat is being used, and so it's completely the healthiest that it can be. And olive oil increases testosterone. It helps your body to make its own testosterone. So olive oil, cold pressed olive oil, is super important. Okay, so I'm wondering if anybody has any questions so far. So yes, yellow watermelon has 4 times the amount of citrulline than red watermelon does. And it's hard to find. If you find it, buy it and tell me if you like it. I have a hard time finding the yellow one, but I can always find the red one. And so I always have watermelon in my fridge. It's a great way to just naturally increase your hydration. And it gives you a boost of citrulline, which gives you increased blood flow generally to all of your cells. But specifically, it's very, very good for your genital area, right? Because if you don't have the proper blood flow in your genitals, you're not going to have normal erections, and you're not going to have normal wetness for women. And what causes a decrease in wetness for women is also decreased blood flow from plaque. Okay, this is an ongoing theme, right? And so these issues can be a precursor to heart disease. So you have to really pay attention when your body's having these changes. And if you're erectile dysfunction, if you have erectile dysfunction, and it's getting worse, this is a time when you need to go see a cardiologist, because this can be a precursor to cardiovascular disease. And so sometimes it's your penis that's telling you, it's like a flag waving, hello, I'm down here telling you that there's blood flow issues. Maybe go see your doctor, or maybe try adding all of these incredible nutritional things into your diet to see if that makes a difference. So nutrition is huge. Now, if you tried all of the above, and if you eat a healthy diet, okay, and if all of that is going on and you're still having issues, I highly suggest you reach out to a professional, because there is a treatment called acoustic wave therapy, and that is a treatment that I do in my practice. And basically what it does is it breaks up the plaque in your arteries and in your blood vessels. And it has been studied over many, many years. It was used originally to break up the kidney stones, right? So it targets the stones and breaks them up, right? It also targets the plaque in your blood vessels and breaks them up. And then your body can release them, that it can flow out of your blood and be processed out of your body. So it's super important to have healthy arteries, okay, and healthy blood vessels, okay, because if you don't have healthy blood vessels, you're not going to have healthy genital function and healthy erections and healthy vaginal wetness. And so this is super important. And, if you look back at one of my other talks, I talk a lot about the female, what causes the woman to get wet. Okay. And there's multiple areas where the woman can create lubrication. The skin glands produces some lubrication. The cervix also produces some lubrication. The Bartholin's glands also produces some lubrication. And of course, the blood flow produces lubrication, because when you are aroused, the blood flows to the clitoris and the vagina and the vulva. And it's interesting because through the walls of the vagina, okay, the plasma of the blood seeps through the walls and lubricates the vagina and externally the vulva. And so blood flow is the key, all right? And so if you don't have that going on, there's a couple of things that you can do. One is, if you're a woman, hormone replacement therapy. Okay. And that is so important. And I have to say that, a lot of times in the past, it was believed by some that hormone replacement therapy could cause cancer, but that has been disproven over and over again. So it is not unhealthy to have hormone replacement therapy. And as women get older, their hormone levels decrease, because what produces the hormones in the body? Your eggs, right? And each month you're releasing eggs from your body constantly, right? And so as you get older, your ability to produce those hormones become less and less, because you're releasing those eggs. And so there comes a time when, my goodness, what's going on? I'm dry as a desert, right? You don't want that to happen to you, right? So before that happens, thinking about all of the things that you can do nutritionally. And then if that doesn't work, getting some hormones. And I highly recommend a cream that is applied topically. It's an estrogen cream, and it absorbs into the skin. So you would apply it vaginally. Also, a progesterone cream. And that one you would apply to other areas of your body that are also very thin and your body can absorb. So, like your wrists. You can also put it behind your knees, inner thighs. So these are things that you would do if you were a woman and you wanted to increase your vaginal wetness. Okay. And if I specifically recommend certain products, but I'm not going to talk about them specifically here, because I want you, if you're interested, I want you to reach out to me and let me know. And then I can tell you a little bit more about those products specifically. So let's talk about acoustic wave therapy. Acoustic wave therapy is an incredible therapy that helps increase blood flow by breaking up the blockages. And I started talking about it earlier. And I think I have ADD, because I'm like always scatterbrained and all over the place. But anyway, acoustic wave therapy is a treatment that I do in my practice, and it increases blood flow by decreasing the plaque in your blood vessels. And not only does it break up that plaque and allow it to flow out of your body, over time, it also increases capillary formation. And if you know what capillaries are the teeny tiny blood vessels in your whole body. Okay. Every single, skin cell has capillaries in them. And so this is how your body gets the nutrition to every cell. And so capillaries are super important to blood flow. And a lot of times, because they're so tiny, right, they can become blocked very easily. And this is why, the blood flow to the penis oftentimes blocks up before, like, say, your heart valves do. So sometimes erectile dysfunction is a precursor to heart disease. So if you're having that issue, pay attention. But because the capillaries are so tiny, they block up very easily. So opening up that blood flow is so key. And then creating more capillaries, okay, over time with this treatment is what you want to do to help increase that blood flow. And so I'm just going to talk about a client that I have been seeing recently, okay? And there's so many over the years. I've been treating sexual health conditions for, I would say, the last 4 or 5 years, but I have been a physical therapist for over 20 years. And I love treating sexual health conditions because I personally love my sex life and I want it to be as healthy as possible. And so I'm always trying to learn how to make it the best that it can be. And then I love to share all of that information with you. So what was I talking about? What was I talking about? I totally forgot. I was like, I lost my train of thought. Okay. I think I was talking about the treatment. So basically, what it is it is a wand, and I move it along the penis, along the inner thigh, sometimes along the testicles, sometimes along the head. It really just depends on the person's tolerance. Okay. And then for women, I also use it externally along the vulva, and then on the inner lips, and there's different heads that you can attach to it. And so the head that I use for the woman also is able to penetrate a little bit into the vaginal opening, and so it treats the internal part of the vaginal opening as well to help decrease the plaque and increase the blood flow. So that's where it's applied, Alex. And so this is an incredible treatment. I know what I was talking about. I was talking about my client. So my client came to me, and he has had erectile dysfunction for, he's 40 now. He's had erectile dysfunction for many years. And I want to just say that is very common. He's 40 now. 40% of men in their 40s have erectile dysfunction. 20% of men in their 20s have erectile dysfunction. It goes up 10% per decade, right? So it's so common, and a lot of people are not talking about it, okay? And so I urge you to talk to your partner about it, because there is treatment. Either way, whether you're a woman or a man, there is treatment. So certainly talk to your partner about it. But my client came to me, and his doctor had prescribed a daily dose of the little blue pill, right? A daily dose. And it was a very small dose, but this was something that he had been taking every day for a year when I met him. And I started the treatment. He's gotten 5 treatments so far. All right. And I recommend 6 for prevention, 10 for mild, 14 treatments if you have moderate erectile dysfunction or moderate dryness, and 18 treatments if you have severe dryness or severe erectile dysfunction. Okay, so but 6 is what is the go-to if you want to just turbo boost those erections and help that blood flow, so you can have wetter, wilder sex, right? So 6 is the number that I recommend to start with for all of my clients. So right now he's in his 5th. He's done his 5th treatment, and he's had this problem for years. And in the last 2 weeks, he has been able to come off of the pills. He has been able to have sex normally without anything else, no treatment in terms of taking any kind of medication. So he's able to actually have sex. And I think that this is super interesting. He was never able to actually have an orgasm and have and ejaculate during sex. He was not able to do that before. And the last time he came to see me, he said that he was actually able to ejaculate during sex. And that's because this treatment also increases sensitivity. And for men, if you don't have sensitivity, it helps you to last longer, right? So it's not always a bad thing for men, right? Because if you have less sensitivity, then you're going to be able to last longer. However, if you have really a less sensitivity that you can't orgasm, you can't have get there all the way, right? Then it becomes a problem, because you really want to enjoy the whole thing. And for women, this is huge. Okay, this is very huge to increase sensitivity, because over time sensitivity decreases along with dryness. So if your sensitivity decreases, you're not going to feel as much, and it's not going to feel as good. And so you're not going to enjoy it as much, right? So this increases sensitivity. So I love to talk about this treatment because it really is an incredible treatment for increasing sensitivity and also increasing blood flow. So far, my client that I'm talking about has had incredible results, and he's only 5 treatments in. And for him, I recommend 14 treatments because he had, I would say, he's probably even severe because he's had erectile dysfunction for many, many years. But he's really having a really amazing effect with the treatments so far. So I'm super excited for him. And he, came and brought his girlfriend for the last time. And so that was really sweet. I got to meet her. And we talked, she and I talked, and it was wonderful because she also has some issues. She's very young. She's only in her late 20s, but she has problems with incontinence, and incontinence is something that does affect your sex life as well. And it's one of those things that, women don't like to talk about, but it's so common. And, many athletes, 40% of female athletes have some form of incontinence when they're doing their sports, right? Because when you're really straining and, doing strenuous exercise, it's really easy for, you to have a little incontinence. And so this is a condition also that I treat in my physical therapy practice. And it has a lot to do with the pelvic floor and the strength of the pelvic floor. But there's so many different things that you can do to help improve that. So I urge you, if that's you out there, to, reach out to me, and I'm here to help. So I'm just going to read some of these comments here because I want to make sure that I get to all the questions. Okay, so we talked about that already. So it's applied to the inner thigh, and for a woman, it's applied to the vulva, and a little bit on the internal surface of the vaginal opening. And so it's applied there. And then also for men, it's applied directly to the penis, and sometimes to the testicles, sometimes to the head of the penis as well. It really depends on the sensitivity of the person because it's not the most comfortable treatment, but it is extremely effective. So a lot of times people will ask me, is this something that will, get me excited in some way? And I would say, no, I wouldn't say that this is a treatment that is going to make you feel good in any way. It's, it can be a little bit uncomfortable. Once you get used to it, it's not uncomfortable at all. But the first time it's a little bit scary because it does make a lot of noise as well. It's acoustic wave therapy. So it is a sound wave that's penetrating into your tissue. So the sound is very loud, but it is extremely effective. It's called acoustic wave therapy. Okay. So if you're interested in learning more about it and the cost, you can reach out to me directly. I'm not going to talk about the cost or anything like that here, but I will talk about an offering that I'm doing, after this for people that are listening today. Okay, so the increasing sensitivity is the acoustic wave therapy, and it increases sensitivity for men and women. Okay. Okay, so if you have too much sensitivity and you orgasm too soon, right? So there's something called premature ejaculation. And actually, premature ejaculation is a sign of erectile dysfunction. So if you have premature ejaculation, you may have some issues with your erectile function, and your body is, ejaculating too quickly because of that. So that's something that also can be treated with this treatment as well. So if you want to get this treatment, So someone's asking me where they can get some. I'm assuming that you're talking about the erectile dysfunction and the decreased vaginal sensitivity and dryness treatment. That is a treatment that I do in my practice. It's called acoustic wave therapy. I'm in Palm Beach County. So if you're in Palm Beach County, or if you want to fly to Palm Beach County to come see me, I can give you the treatment. Otherwise, I would reach out to urologists in your area, wherever you live. I know some people are here from Europe. Urologists oftentimes will have this kind of treatment in their practices. Urologists' prices are going to be a lot higher than mine, but they also do this treatment in their practices. And then there's some doctors that, will offer it as well if they treat sexual health conditions. So you'll have to look in your area to see if there's other people that are also doing this treatment near you. So I just think I went through all of the questions so far. Yes. And so would working with kerosene affect the efficiency of eating healthy? I really don't know what, I don't know the answer to that question. I will have to look that up. So if you want to just reach out to me and send me a message on my profile, and I will look that up and I will try and have an answer for you. Okay. So I talked about the hormone creams, right? The progesterone and the estrogen creams that you can apply topically. Those are going to be amazing for women. Also, testing your hormones, right? So if you are having functional issues, you want to make sure that you get your hormones tested. That way you can know if your levels are normal or not. And if they're not, if you have decreased testosterone or any other thing, okay, you can certainly increase that by medically. Okay, so your doctor can give you medication to help improve your testosterone levels. And then I want to talk about something that I just recently learned about. Okay, and this is so exciting to me because it is something that I think is going to help so many of my patients, new and old. And I will be contacting, and I already have actually started contacting a lot of them about this technology that I had never heard about before. But like I said, I have a podcast. It's called Please Me. And today dropped an episode with a person. Her name is Darlene Green. And she taught me about this incredible stem cell technology. And if you know anything about stem cells are the building blocks in your body of all cells. So all of your cells come from stem cells, and then they, change into the type of cell that they're going to be. But stem cells are so important. And so you've probably heard about it. A lot of treatments are being done to help improve tissue health and to help regenerate tissue. So a lot of times, if you have, say, a knee problem, doctors will inject, stem cells directly into your knee to help to regenerate the tissue. And it's shown promising results in those types of applications. But I think that this technology that I'm about to talk to you about right now is the most amazing thing. And what it is it's a patch that you put on your body, and it helps your body to produce its own stem cells. And if you know anything about, your body absorbing the sunlight to create vitamin D, it's a very similar effect with these patches. Our bodies have naturally light in them, right? And so the patches help to reflect the natural light that you have in your body. It reflects back into your body. So you put the patch on and it reflects back into your body the natural light, which helps to produce stem cells. Isn't that incredible? I mean, I just can't believe that I had never heard about this technology sooner. But there are Olympic teams that are all using this technology. So I urge you to listen to my podcast that came out today. It's specifically about this technology, and Darlene Green is on the show talking about it. And she's an expert in it, and she gives tons and tons of detail about it. I can't go into tons of detail myself because I just learned about it myself, but I already ordered it for myself, and I cannot wait to see how it affects me. But what stem cells do is they help to repair the damaged cells in your body. And if you have erectile dysfunction or you have decreased vaginal sensitivity and dryness, we already know that there's cells in your body that are not functioning properly. So what this does is it targets any problem in your body, right? It targets all of the issues that you may be having in your body. But if you are having these issues, it will target these specific issues as well. And it helps to increase blood flow naturally by helping to repair the cell damage. So I urge you to listen to that podcast. It's a lot of information. I was a little bit overwhelmed when I listened to it myself. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so much information. But the bottom line is that it can really, really help with blood flow, and it can help to heal your body naturally from the inside out. And I really love to focus on things that are natural and that are holistic and that are not going to cause damage to our bodies. And a lot of times, people don't realize that, Viagra and Cialis do cause damage. And, the doctors don't tell you that. They just, you walk in and they prescribe a medication and you're out the door. And they don't tell you all of the side effects. And there are many side effects, including heart attack. Hello. Do you want to have a heart attack while you're having sex? No, I mean, absolutely not. Right. So, and that's not an uncommon thing. So definitely trying to work with holistic methods to try and be as healthy as possible is really the best way to go. And Viagra and Cialis, although they do help a lot of people, okay, I'm not saying that they don't. And then there's, the injection that you can put into your penis that also helps with blood flow. Again, very dangerous to use, long-term over time. So if you are relying on these things, then you definitely have erectile dysfunction, and you really need to think about how you can help your body naturally so that you don't need these chemicals in your body to improve your sex lives. So somebody asked me earlier how to last longer, right? We want to last as long as possible. Why? So when people masturbate, it's very interesting to me that when women and men masturbate, it usually takes them more or less the same amount of time to reach orgasm. Okay, so, but when people have sex, right, and I'm talking penetrative sex, first of all, that's how men orgasm. All right, only 3 to 5% of women can orgasm from penetration alone. So if that's all you're doing, you're not going to help your woman, your partner, to get there, right? Women need external clitoral stimulation in order to orgasm. 95% of women do. Okay. I know I do. I can't just, orgasm from penetration alone, and most women can't. So it's super, super important to think about that. And so for men, usually in penetrative sex, you can reach orgasm in, 5 to 7 minutes. It can go pretty quickly, right? But for a woman, it can take 20, 25, even more time to get there. And women need external stimulation. So stimulating the clitoris is super important. And so there's lots of ways to do that, people. Yes, oral sex is one of those ways. And I just say that if you're going to have oral sex, make sure that you know, who your partner's been with prior to you, because STIs can be transmitted through oral sex. And I do like to talk about safe sex a lot. There are things that you can do, barriers that you can use to have safe oral sex on a woman, but a woman needs external stimulation. And if you don't want to do oral because of, safety reasons, your hand is very useful in that way. And so I highly recommend giving a nice vulva massage, and you can do that for, 15, 20 minutes to really prepare the woman, because a woman also has to have a quote unquote erection in order to be ready for penetration. And a lot of times people don't realize that. So they're like, okay, the man has to have an erection, can't function without it, right? And if your man doesn't have an erection, then he can't put it in. So that's just not going to be possible, right? But for a woman has to have an engorged clitoris in order to be ready for sex. And a lot of times when women have painful sex, it's because they are not ready yet. They have to get engorged, okay? That's when the blood flows to the clitoris and fills up with blood, and you will see a noticeable change. So women's clitoris is basically the equivalent of the man's penis. And it is just about the same size as a man's penis. It's not all external like the man's penis. You can't see the whole thing. It's internal, but it is an organ system that is just as big, more or less, as a man's penis, and has even more nerve endings, right? We have so many nerve endings. And so women can have multiple orgasms. We want to make sure that we are getting the tissue engorged and your girl ready for penetration. So I like to talk a lot about that, because there's something that exists called the orgasm gap. And yes, somebody mentioned orgasm equality earlier. So I'm going to talk about the orgasm gap a little bit now. Let me just get some water. So the orgasm gap, I love to talk about the orgasm gap. I bring it up like pretty much almost every single podcast that I have, right? Because I really feel like women are getting the short end of the stick when it comes to getting their needs met sexually. And that a lot of times is because what we see in the media is always penetrative sex and not the things that get women to orgasm, which I already discussed, right? With oral sex, vulva stimulation, super, super important. So let's see. So somebody says Viagra doesn't work. So Viagra will work until your arteries, until your blood vessels become completely clogged up. When they're completely clogged up, guess what? Viagra no longer works. Okay. But if you're at that point, then that's moderate to severe erectile dysfunction. And definitely the treatment that I talked about earlier, acoustic wave therapy, would help to break up those blockages so that the blood would flow. So the orgasm gap, let's go back to that. I keep getting distracted by all of the comments over here, and my apologies. I will read them, I promise, and answer your questions at the end. So the orgasm gap is a phenomenon where women in all heterosexual relationships, okay, and I'm talking just specifically heterosexual relationships. This doesn't exist in gay relationships, okay? But in all heterosexual relationships, women are not getting their needs met as much as men. So in coupled penetrative sex, 95% of men are able to reach orgasm, where women are at 56%. And that creates an orgasm gap. Okay, that is what the orgasm gap is. And through education, through awareness, my mission is to close that orgasm gap one person at a time. And so how do we close that orgasm gap for ourselves? And, I know that I myself have had, issues with being in that, statistic in the past. And so for me, it's very personal. And I already talked about one of the reasons why, and what we see in the media is always penetration and not what gets a woman to climax. So a lot of times people think that that's all that sex is. And people from SDC, we know better, right? Sex is a whole lot more than just penetration alone, right? Stimulating the woman is very important to getting the woman prepared for sex. Also knowing your body, knowing what helps you to reach orgasm is super important. So I always recommend that everybody masturbate. Masturbation is so important, to know your body and to know what helps you to get there. And for me, I love my vibrator. I love my Rose. My Rose is my favorite. I mean, I have a ton of different ones, but that is my absolute favorite because it has a lot of surface area, and it really helps me to get there. And if I don't have my Rose with me, 9 times out of 10, I won't be able to get there. Or if I don't have a vibrator with me, 9 times out of 10, I won't be able to get there. So never feel intimidated by sex toys. Okay, sex toys are helpful for women to reach orgasm, and a lot of times women have not learned to reach orgasm with their hand. I personally have tried a zillion times and it just never helps. I mean, yes, it feels nice, but I need my Rosie, or I need a vibrator. So if you are like me, don't be afraid to bring that vibrator into the bedroom. Because if you are, having amazing orgasms on your own, but then never having orgasms when you're having sex, that's an issue. Okay. And you want to address that by talking to your partner. And yes, I've had experiences where a partner will be intimidated by that. And it's really silly. I mean, if you have a partner that doesn't want to pleasure you and doesn't want you to feel pleasure, maybe that's not the right partner for you, right? So think about that. Why wouldn't your partner want you to feel good? The whole idea is for you to feel good, right? Sex is our adult playground. And this is where we, enjoy ourselves, where we play, where we experiment, where we try different things. So having that communication with your partner and feeling very comfortable about having that communication with your partner so that you can bring in lots of different toys and try lots of different things. That's what is exciting. Variety is the spice of life, right? And I know that my SDC friends highly agree with me on that one, right? But I'm just saying variety in terms of like the different things that you can try. There are so many incredible toys, so many incredible things that you can bring into the bedroom to really enhance your orgasms. So somebody's asking me what toys that I like. And, I actually just had Taylor Sparks on my podcast, and she is amazing. She owns a sex toy company, and it's all organic. She is on SDC. She has a profile, so you can look her up. You can also look out for our podcast. But I did interview her once before in season 1, and I just interviewed her again. And we did a whole entire podcast about toys and about the ones that I love. So you'll have to watch out for that one coming up. It's going to be a really, really amazing episode. But I already said I love my Rosie and I love my vibrators. Vibrators are what help me to, get to my climax. And I highly recommend that other people try them if they haven't done so already. If you've gone through life and you've never had an orgasm, I find that to be very sad, because it just feels so incredible. And our bodies are wired for pleasure. From head to toe. I'm not just talking about genital area, right? I'm talking about every nerve ending in your body is wired for pleasure. Have you ever had a massage where you're just like, oh, that feels so good, you know? They're rubbing your head, or they're rubbing your neck, or they're rubbing your feet, you know. We are wired for pleasure from head to toe. So there are erogenous zones and non erogenous zones, but non erogenous zones can certainly be erogenous zones if you're in the right frame of mind. So, absolutely stimulating the whole entire body and not just focusing on the genitals is going to help to build anticipation, and it's going to help to really get the body prepared and ready. And if you think about the statistics that I talked about earlier, where it takes women 20 to 25 minutes to really get into that mind frame, right, and really have their body ready for sex. It takes men a lot less time, but for women it takes a lot more time. So trying to really think about um, getting all of the erogenous zones, not just the genital erogenous zones, but really thinking about the skin, the whole entire body. Your skin is your biggest organ. And people don't think of it that way, but your skin is your biggest organ, and it has so many nerve endings. And so thinking about stimulating all of those amazing nerve endings to really get you excited and build anticipation is really going to help to get you ready for intercourse. Also for men, somebody asked me earlier what could help to last longer, and edging is something that you can do to help you to last longer. And basically what edging is it's stimulating the penis to the point of ejaculation and then stopping. Okay, and stopping until the sensation of having to ejaculate minimizes and goes away, and then you restart your sexual exploration. Okay. So edging, you can do that on your own when you're masturbating and practicing to help you to last longer. And you can also do it while you're having sex. Okay. So waiting until you have that sensation where you feel like you're about to have an orgasm, and then stopping and letting it dissipate, and then resuming. So that's what edging is. And edging is a great practice for men to learn how to last longer. And, for, young men, oftentimes it's quick, right? Because you have all of the sensation, you have all of the blood flow. So you really want to learn how to last longer so that you can enjoy it for a longer period of time, and to please your partner, right? Because, if you last only a few minutes, your partner is going to be like, what about me? And another thing that I want to mention too is that sex doesn't have to end when the man has an orgasm. Okay. Just because the man has an orgasm doesn't mean that it's over, right? You can continue. You can continue until your partner is satisfied. So do that. Make sure you do that, right? Make sure you do that. And some people are like, yes, don't be rude. Exactly. Exactly. Remember that the woman also wants to feel pleasure too. And, if you get there and your partner hasn't gotten there, make sure that you take care of her too. And, communication. Let's talk about communication for a minute here. Communication between partners is so important from beginning to end, okay? Because you want to make sure that consensually everybody's on the same page, everybody has enthusiastic consent from beginning to end, okay? So making sure that that's there too. Oh, Arab Bull, how you been? Haven't seen you in so long. Hello. Anyway, I am about to wrap up because we have been going for almost about an hour, but I want to make sure that I mention here that I am a licensed physical therapist, and I treat conditions of the pelvic floor, and I treat sexual health conditions. So if that is you, please reach out and say hello. I get lots of clients from SDC, and I get lots of clients, from these lives. So I encourage you to reach out to me and say hello, and ask me your questions. We can certainly set up a call And I'm just putting my OWL code up here. You can call me on the OWL app, and it is a really amazing app for lots of different things. But one of the things it's great for is that you can call me directly, okay? And if you use code EH576472, and I'll put it here so that you guys can have it, EH576472, okay? If you use that code on the OWL app, and the OWL app is OWWLL, okay, 2 W's, 2 L's. If you get on the OWL app and you use that code, you're going to get $10 free to use the app. And then you can give me a call and I can answer your questions. So make sure that you reach out to me on the OWL app if you're interested, or you can reach out to me on pleaseme.online. Pleaseme.online is my website. It's my website for my podcast. Lots of my podcasts are on there. Lots of my podcasts are also on SDC. The latest podcasts are on Apple and Spotify, and anywhere you listen to podcasts, you can find my podcast called Please Me. And so I urge you to listen to it. And again, today's episode with Darlene Green is about that stem cell technology that I think is going to really make such a huge difference in so many people's lives. And so if you're interested in learning about that, please reach out to me. And there's something else that I talked about in that episode that I actually didn't talk about today, but it is a product that I also recommend that helps you to get the nutrition of 30 fruits and vegetables in your body every single day. It's something that I take. I do not miss a day because, a lot of times we don't eat enough fruits and vegetables. And so this helps to bridge the gap between what you do eat and what you should eat. And so you can find the information about that product on my website as well, pleaseme.online. And then I just want to mention one more thing. And I, of course, listen to my podcast, right? But if you're interested in treatments, I'm offering right now buy 5, get 1 free. And 6 treatments is what I talk about in terms of helping you to, if you are starting to develop a little bit of issues with vaginal dryness or decreased sensitivity or erectile dysfunction, or you just want to boost your libido, boost your erectile function and your vaginal wetness, if you just want to give yourself a boost, know that, no matter what, plaque is building up over time, right? And so you may not have any symptoms, or you may have very, very small symptoms, but over time they will develop into worse symptoms. So the buy 5, get 1 free is 6 treatments, which is what I recommend for prevention. So if you're interested in setting that up, please reach out to me on pleaseme.online, or you can just send me a message, DM me on, my Facebook or Instagram or YouTube. This is, live on all 3. And you can reach me on SDC.com and just send me a message in my messages. And you will also on SDC.com get a message saying to rate this podcast or this webinar. So please give me a rating. Those are also very, very helpful. And if you get to listen to my podcast today with Darlene Green, please also give me a rating. Rating is how, the podcasts grow. And my podcast has been around for about 10 months now, and it is growing. It is now in the 10th percentile of podcasts globally. And my goal is to be in the top 1%. So I recommend that you listen. I encourage you to listen, and I encourage you to leave me a review. So thank you all for being here today. I so very much appreciate you being here. And please don't be shy and say hello. All right. Until next time.